like Michael Jackson and Thriller. Like, now you want to be the scared girl watching the movie,
Really?
holding on to me. Pretend like you're holding on to me to the other screen. Other way.
Over here?
Oh yeah. What's wrong? Scary?
Are we starting the podcast this way?
Some people like ASMR. You like to reach you? Hello, everyone. I'm Tionni, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 42 of Two Tickets, One Theme.
Right.
I love to introduce my wonderful husband.
How's it going, everyone?
How's it going, Jonathan? How are you feeling? You feeling energetic?
As energetic as I can feel.
Good answer. Well, Black History Month is over. It's only 28 days. It's all America gave us. But we have another movie led by amazingly strong Black women to lead into the next month, which is Women's History Month. We're going with a highly underrated film. Even though it's loved by critics and audience, I feel like nobody talks about this movie, but it's great. It's one of Viola Davis's best movies, in my opinion, The Woman King.
Now we'll do a quick rundown of facts about the movie in the segment we call Movie Trailer. The Woman King is a historical drama that was released on September 16th, 2022, and it was directed by Gina Prince Bythewood and written by Dana Stevens and Maria Bello.
Jonathan, who's Gina Prince Bythewood?
What?
We did a movie by Gina Prince Bythewood, written and directed, called Love and Basketball in February. Last February we did Love and Basketball, and she's also done Beyond the Lights. I just thought we should mention that since we've done it before. Yes. And Maria Bello, that name sounds familiar because she was an actress who plays the owner of Coyote Ugly, which is a movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid for some reason. And I have to shout her out for destroying the Mummy franchise and doing The Dragon Emperor, where she replaced Rachel Weisz in The Mummy 3.
I've seen both of the movies, and I still can't put a face to that to that name.
Yeah, but, she's one of those people that you would if you saw her face, you would know.
Right.
She's a friend of Viola Davis's because they co-starred in a movie called Prisoners that came out in 2013. They played friends and the mothers of the two missing girls, and I guess that's how they connected over this movie. She visited Benin in West Africa to research the Agojie, and she returned to the United States convinced she had found a great movie pitch. The project then stayed in developmental hell for years, and only after the massive success of Black Panther in 2018 was the film greenlit with a $50 million budget. Basically, Hollywood said, "Oh, you guys want to learn about African people? Cool. So we will greenlight this project."
Yeah, it makes sense after watching Black Panther. You know, we talk about the Agojie, you know, right? It's pretty much inspired.
Agojie. It's kidding. Like, you don't say it like that.
We'll see the inspiration from Black Panther from the Agojie.
It is rated PG-13 and has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 94% critics and 99% audience. The audience loved this movie. The critics loved this movie. I wonder why people forget about this movie. We'll talk about that later.
Right.
Here's a synopsis from IMDb. The Woman King is a remarkable story of the Agojie, the all-female unit of warriors who protected the African kingdom of Dahomey in the 1800s with skills and fierceness unlike anything the world has ever seen. Inspired by true events, The Woman King follows the emotionally epic journey of General Naniska as she trains the next generation of recruits and readies them for battle against an enemy determined to destroy their way of life. Now it's time for a segment we call Showtime, where John and I take you through the film scene by scene. If you haven't seen The Woman King yet, we highly recommend watching it first. This is your official spoiler warning, and you have more time to turn this podcast off if you still need to watch the movie, because we're going to jump. Before we jump into the plot, we're going to kick things off with the facts segment. In this section, we dig up the wildest, most interesting facts about the movie. Today's fact segment is called Naniska's Little Nuggets of Facts. I will start with the first fact.
I mean, I feel like audience could just listen to us first and then watch the movie. You know, sometimes people listen, they're like, they have no interest in watching the movie.
Well, if you're a crazy person who wants to hear the entire story through our mouths, fine. But you should watch the movie.
And they're like, you know what? Maybe I should watch the movie after
listening to them. Some people go to the end of the book to see what happens, to see if they want to read the book. Those are what we call psychopaths.
Which is not the way to do it.
All right. First fact. While the Agojie were very much real, they existed over a century. They also have inspired plenty of interpretations in pop culture, perhaps notably in the Dora Milaje and Black Panther. For director Gina Prince Bythewood, making the historical epic The Woman King was a dream come true. Despite dealing with a 7-year-long development process, Prince Bythewood was determined to prove that Hollywood stories centering on powerful Black women deserve to be seen. And we love her for that. She's always doing a movie starring Black women.
The actors trained for 4 months before shooting to get in shape for the action sequences. Every day they would lift weights for 90 minutes and then train for 3.5 hours with the stunt coordinator, where they learned martial arts, how to use swords and spears, and did some cardio.
That's kind of crazy. I really thought about the timing, and I was like, so for 1 hour and 30 minutes, they lifted weights, and then they trained for 3.5 hours to learn how to do martial arts. That's a lot.
I mean, I'm sure they were very sore, but got into the best shape of their lives.
Exactly. Very tired. The film's title comes from the fact that the people of Dahomey believed in the legend of two kings, a man and a woman, who are exact equals, and Niska is expected to be crowned the woman king, hence why the film isn't simply called The Queen or something similar. I would beg to argue that they are exact equals, but we'll talk about that some more through the film.
Okay.
Also, be prepared for Jonathan to make stupid jokes with Dahomey.
Nah, I'm not gonna do any of that.
Well, Jonathan's Dahomey.
I mean,
it's right. Dahomey.
Tionni is definitely my Dahomey.
I hate when you say it like that. You don't say my Dahomey. You say Tionni's Dahomey.
Dahomey. All right.
Whatever. Go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead, Herb. Let's go.
Herb, how dare you? The movie began shooting in South Africa in late 2021.
Why did you yell South Africa to me? Go ahead.
I yelled it because you're being disrespectful.
Okay, whatever.
But was interrupted, just like I was right now.
Jonathan, start the factory. Please.
The movie began shooting in South Africa in late 2021, but was interrupted by the Omicron variant wave of COVID-19 pandemic. Production had to shut down for a few weeks, but extra time was used to rehearse and perfect the big battle sequence.
COVID-19 be doing that. All right, are we ready to get into this movie, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We start the movie. We get the Dahomey origins and scrolling credits like it's a Star Wars movie.
I mean, not as long.
What?
Not
as long, but in a land far, far away. I don't know. A new king, King Gezo, played by John Boyega, who was in a Star Wars movie or two. King Gezo has taken power. The Oyo Empire has joined forces with the Mahi people to raid African villages to sell people to Europeans, African people.
The Oyo Empire, similar to the Evil Empire.
See, it's like Star Wars. That's very well they thought of this. King Gezo has an all-female army, and they're called the Agojie. We start after those scrolling Star Wars credits. We go to the Mahi village. The Agojie are seen getting ready to infiltrate a camp full of Mahi men sitting around a fire. Once they infiltrate, they fight the men to the death. And in that battle, they lose some of their women and some of them get injured. But ultimately, they win. We're introduced to how badass they are almost immediately. We see that they handled those Mahi men pretty easily. They are then able to free the men and women that were taken to be sold. So they're showing that these Mahi people had a collection of men and women from other villages that they were getting ready to give over to the Oyo and the Europeans. We meet Niska, played by Viola Davis. She picks up a horseshoe left behind, and she infers that the Oyo soldiers have been there because they're usually the ones that are on horses, because they got these horses, we assume, from the Europeans. They never outright said that, but I would assume
that's the only thing we can assume, honestly.
Right. So they know that they're the ones who initiated the trade of those people because she finds that horseshoe. We go to the kingdom of Dahomey, where we meet Nawi, and excuse me if I mispronounce her name, she's played by Thuso Mbedu, who realizes she's being wedded to a man she doesn't know. She finds this out from a dressmaker that says something like, your mom needs to let me know if I need to make your wedding dress for you. And she's like, my wedding dress? What do you mean? But it seems like something she's been dealing with for years.
I was like, this can't be the first time, right? So she's like, oh, again.
I guess the surprise is that it's happening again. Right. Like they already found somebody that quickly that would take her.
Like, so hopefully this man is handsome and young.
Right. That's what she's hoping for. We go back to the Agojie. They're coming home from that battle that they just won, and they get a hero's welcome. You can see that the village really honors these female soldiers. They also have the prisoners of the Oyo walk in with them behind them because they rescued them, so they're now bringing them to their empire. And everyone bows their heads as the Agojie walk in out of respect. That's how they show respect to them. The king said they're not allowed to look at them in the eye.
It seemed like the village people hear a lot of stories about the Agojie,
Hmm.
and it's almost like as if it's like a myth type of thing. You know, it's like they're tough, they're amazing,
I mean, not a myth because they're
almost
real.
magical type
Oh,
thing.
okay, gotcha. We see a cute little moment where a little kid peeks a look, like his parents are telling him, "No, you cannot look upon them." But being a kid he is, he's looking through his fingers, and while he like half looks through his fingers, closes them, looks through his fingers, Izogi, played by Lashana Lynch, playfully messes with him as she like appears through his fingers right in front of his face to scare him. So
Right.
we're getting that introduction to Izogi as like the jokester. She's the more lighthearted one that likes to play around. And we
Gotta need one
also
of those.
see, hmm?
Gotta need one of those in the serious,
Right, right.
serious
We need
army.
some levity, right? Naoi is also stealing a glance at the Agojie. She's like much older. I would say, what do you think, like 20, 19, 18?
Yeah.
But she's like, it's just showing us she's a little bit of a rebel. She's like, I also want to look. We go to Naniska. Now, Naniska is nothing like Izogi. Is that how you say her name? Izogi? She's
Is I don't know.
Izogi. I think it's
We're
Izogi.
trying our best, people.
Naniska is definitely the most serious of the bunch. Like she's like takes no shit. She don't joke around. She doesn't play.
I don't think she can. Honestly, she's the leader.
Right, and she's thought of being the woman king someday, so she can't play around. She seems unhappy, even though they won the battle. Like she's just always upset. Like we didn't win the battle easily.
Right.
You know, people got hurt, people died. So
That
in her
reminds
opinion,
me. That reminds me of myself as a Knicks fan. It's like no. We may have won, but it looked way too difficult.
it was too difficult. Was even a good team in the league.
Right. That too.
We won the fourth quarter. We were
I
down by 20.
definitely torture Tionni with my fandom.
Yes, compare the Knicks to the Agojie, one of the best warriors in the land.
Right.
Whatever. She requests a meeting with the king because she feels like they got to talk about the slave trade problem. Naui, go back to Naui. She's speaking with her friend as she's walking home. Her siblings run to her announcing she has a visitor, and it's her betrothed. Is that how you use that word? Betrothed, like the
Betrothed.
person that she's supposed to marry.
Yes.
I use big words and now I don't even know how to say it. She sees him and she is not pleased. Jonathan, do you remember what he looks like?
I mean, he was old. He was out of shape. He looked like a jerk.
Yeah, I would say like when we say old, he's probably in his 50s or 60s, and this girl's like late teens.
Sorry to the actor that plays this man.
Right. I don't
Very,
think he's
very
ugly. It's
respectful.
just it wasn't in her age range, you
Right.
know?
Like, yeah. I
You
mean,
wouldn't be happy.
she's playing how old?
I would say late teens.
I mean, like yeah, maybe 18, maybe
Right.
just to be safe, just because they want to be safe in this movie. It's fictional. It's a fictional story overall.
I don't think that matters. And
I mean, they're definitely probably during these times they try to wed 14-year-olds.
yeah. Yeah. So the point is he's much older and he's not even like super fit. So and then on top of that, he's abusive. He talks to her aggressively, expects her to respond, which she doesn't because she's not happy about this, and he slaps the crap out of her.
Right.
So he goes to grab her and doesn't realize she's a fighter, and she pushes him over.
He
Like
looked
she's
like
like, "Get off of
she
me!"
straight up punked him.
Right. And so after that, he's like, "Oh no, 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 no! She is too much. I don't want to marry her anymore. She's worthless." And her father doesn't back her up. He scolds now. He says like, "No one wants to marry you. You're not used up," because that would indicate that she's like had sex.
Right.
More like you have a reputation.
I
Of
can't
being
get rid of you.
difficult.
I can't get anything out of you. He's trying to. It seems like he's trying to sell her, right? Like she's
Right.
trying
And
to
she's
get
also
something out of
getting
her.
too old. So like Jonathan
Right.
said, they probably do value a more younger girl. And at this point she's probably late teens and then she's not getting anybody to marry her because she's seen as a rebel and aggressive and not ladylike. So
She's strong willed.
right. So he deems strong willed equals worthless when you're trying to get married. Great. So he takes her to the king to give her away. He's like, maybe they can use you at the palace or something, but I'm done with you. You're a burden on me. So Izogi opens the gates of the palace and accepts her. And Naoi walks in with her head down because she thinks she's not supposed to look upon the Agojie. And Izogi informs her that now that she's behind the palace gates, she doesn't have to look away. So this gives her an opportunity to look up and see the glory of the Agojie. And they're all training around her, doing different training techniques. Here's a fact: to get the women of the Woman King into literal fighting shape, Stevens put them through a regimen that included jujitsu, the Filipino knife fighting style known as Kali, Chinese wushu, as viewers clearly saw in the film, lots of machete and staff work.
I mean, I'm reading that fact and I'm thinking to myself like, the real Agojie has no way to learn these type of fighting techniques of another culture. They have definitely must have their own
That's
fighting
true. But
ways.
for movie sake,
Right,
Jonathan, they
right.
pulled
And,
from certain
and
styles.
again, this is based on true stories. This is all just for entertainment and
We
trying
don't know they
to
visited China. Jeez. Anyway, she
maybe.
informs her that beyond the wall is a palace of women. Women. No men are allowed beyond this wall. Only eunuchs. And Jonathan, what is a eunuch?
They they do something funny with the privates.
Do they castrate themselves, or do they get castrated? And how do they decide that they want to be?
I think to be a eunuch, it has to be done a certain way too. There's like a ritual the way they castrate a man. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to even think about it. It's already hurting me as I talk about it. So let's just move on.
Now he joins the other refugees and prisoners that are also in the palace because, like I said, those women that were rescued from that camp, the Mahi camp, are there as well. We meet Oba Ade, who's played by Jimmy Odukoya, and his Oyo soldiers on horses. They arrive at Mahi and they see the carnage from the battle. They're disgusted more than anything that women did this damage of all people. How did they let this happen? These are women. Uh,
I mean, they should. I mean, they know who these
they
women
don't care.
are.
They still look down
Yeah,
upon
I
it.
mean, whatever.
They hate it. We finally meet the king in person. We've just been talking about him. The king comes to meet with Naniska. As they walk away, Shantae was present. She's played by Jamie Lawson, who you'll know from Sinners, the love interest of the young kid,
That's not how you described her
Winter
when I
Boy.
watched the movie.
She's the love interest. Because I told you she's like the let me taste you girl. I want to
Yeah,
taste you girl.
yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so the king is talking to Shantae, who's one of his wives.
One of his wives. She
Right.
is the main wife.
She's one of them. That's how Naniska feels. And Naniska comes to approach the king to have a talk, and he walks away from Shantae with Naniska. And you could tell that Shantae is like, I can't stand this woman. So she questions the eunuch that's with her as to why King Gezo favors her. Like, why does he like her? Why does he believe in her opinion? He answers, the eunuch answers her like, well, during the coup, she fought to the death for him. Like she, not to the death, no one died, but she protected him and saved his life. And then he says, and what did you do? And he basically reminds her that she took cover,
I
that
mean,
like she just hid while it was
she
going down.
she offers nothing, just
Right,
a pretty face for the king.
right. But you're the main hoe. You good. Um,
Right.
the king is holding a council meeting. He informs everyone that he will not give into the oil empire's request to trade more of his people. Council members tell him that that would mean war and the Oyo empire is larger than theirs. So it's a concern. It's like we kind of have to do this. We don't want to, but then we're going to war with a bigger army and a bigger empire. Naniska also does not want to sell people. She doesn't believe that's the way to go, even though their empire is bigger. And she also probably has faith in her team, her soldiers, that they can handle the oil. Um, but the other council members are not too certain about her strength and her soldier strength because they found that she lost some of her people in the last battle, and that was just against the Mahi. That wasn't even the Oyo. So they're
Right.
like, "You're not that good," basically.
Which
How are we gonna trust you?
which is her truth, and it's not so crazy to think.
She doesn't love that. She doesn't love that evaluation. But again, we see that some people are. It's a means to an end. We're gonna have to just trade some of those people that you saved from the camp. That would be the easiest way. Like we don't even know them. Just give them back. Let's avoid fighting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can see that Naniska is trying to do the right thing, and the king is also trying to do the right thing, but his council members do not agree. Um, Naniska and Amenza, played by Sheila Atim, say they have other things to sell, like gold and palm oil. We don't have to trade people. We have palm oil to trade as well. And Shantae is like, "Are you serious? Like, you want to make us a kingdom of peasants by trying to sell goods instead of people? Like, the people are the goods. That's what they
Right.
want. You were gonna get what we need, and if we trade some of our people." But the king really favors Naniska. He also really doesn't want to trade his people or the prisoners, so he's open to trying to trade the palm oil. He wants to give it a shot.
He's
And
like, he says like, all right, so prove to me you have to make this amount, showing me
right.
that this can work.
And I think at this point he walks away after that, and one of the council members like kind of confronts Naniska angrily, like, "Why are you able to convince the king of everything? Like, he speaks to you in private, he takes your word. Like, what is it about you?" And she's like, "Well, I must have earned that respect at some point, and you didn't."
Right.
Basically,
Get over it.
right? Get over it. Did
Yeah.
you do anything?
It's funny the way we're seeing this government of this kingdom work, right? They don't want to stop slave trade because they want to keep living their rich lives.
Right.
They don't want to stop living the way they're living.
And you
So
can see
and
that it's very evident in Shantae.
and obviously for them to live the way they're living in royalty, it's hurting their people by selling them, by capturing and selling. So they're definitely in the wrong, but they feel like they're stuck in the situation for what?
And they
To
don't
be
think they can
to be
take on
rich.
the oil empire at
And
all.
we think about our own government, just the rich stay richer, poor get poorer.
Right. Amenzo is introducing the tradition of the Agojie and the King's Guard to the women captives. Nadiska also is there explaining the importance of the Agojie to the new group of women. This group of women includes Nawi and one of the prisoners, Ode. They just focus on one of the girls that's in that group. She's played by Adrienne Horn, which I remember is like sort of a big Broadway star, if you were wondering. She played Tina Turner in Tina Turner the musical.
Tiani, I was wondering that. Thank you for
You're
telling me.
welcome. You're so welcome. Naniska let the women know that they could take no husband and bear no children. And that's where I bring it back to equal to the king. The king is able to make his own decisions. He can have as many wives as he wants, as many kids as he wants, but he put this rule onto the Agojie that they can't have husbands or children, even if they want to. So I feel like that's not equality. What do you think, Jonathan?
The men soldiers are able to have wives, so why can't the women soldiers have? I mean, it always goes back to the thought of the women being able to get pregnant, right? So if the
Right.
woman is
It makes them
pregnant,
weaker.
that makes them out of commission for how many so months.
But what is that? We'll find out that that's not necessarily the case because somebody gets pregnant
I
at
mean,
some point and
she
kept
she
going.
had to do a lot just to keep that secret.
Yeah, but she still did what she had to do, right?
Yeah.
She gives them a choice. Naniska gives them a choice that they can stay and train and become Agojie, or they can leave and just be one of the people of Dahomey. And one of the people of Dahomey. Some women leave. They're like, "What? I can't have babies. I can't have no man," and they
Like
leave.
this is like this sounds like a lot of work too.
Right. Like we gotta trade. And then some stay, including Nawi and Ode. They decide that they want to be strong
The
fighters.
people that leave must have other options because the people that stay, like, where else am I gonna go? Or the people that stay is like,
I think
F
they,
everybody else.
well, I remember Ode's reason being that she doesn't want to be a victim anymore.
Yeah,
And
right.
Nawi doesn't want to be just sold off to some man at someone else's will. So those are their reasons. But I think the prisoners probably just infiltrate themselves into the Dahomey lifestyle outside of the palace gates. That's really it. And
Yeah.
then they could meet some
Okay.
Dahomey man and you know.
Yeah.
Um Nawi is immediately chastised by a more senior Agojie woman for messing around with her stuff. I think she starts trying to like
The
use the
spear.
weapons or something.
Right.
What's she doing?
It was like a spear. She was just admiring it,
And touching
and then
it.
she's like, "That's my spear."
Right. So she didn't like that. And Azogi kind of saves her. She takes a liking to Nawi's spunk and she shows her weapon, a sword, and explains how she made it. And then she also notices that like she could tell Naui is like a rebel because everybody was ordered to go bathe. They have like this big like pool looking like if you go to any of these fancy spas that exist where you get in those little pools and just relax, that's how they bathe. They go in these pools like
It was
that.
like in this cave. It
Yeah,
looked
like
like a
a
nice
cave.
pool.
It's nice. It's chill. It looks like a spa.
It looked like a hot tub. Honestly, I
Right.
was like, I want to go in there.
Right. So, but now he doesn't follow the other women to the bath and is always like, you have to go bathe. You have to listen to what we say, like follow orders. So it took Naui so long to go down to the bathhouse that now it's only just her and Naniska in the bathhouse. So she gets to have a little one-on-one with the boss. So Naniska questioned Naui's upbringing to find out what brought her here. And she tells him, like, yeah, I was dumped at the palace by my dad. He feels like I'm useless because I failed to get married to someone. And then Nadiska brings her up immediately. I say that sarcastically. She tells Naui that her kind usually fails the training. Like her kind of the person she is by being not following orders in the Dahomey life will fail here in the Agojie life because you can't take orders. And Naui insists that she has always dreamed about being an Agojie, that she will not fail. The new women have the women that decide to stay and train, they have their first day of training. They receive their first weapon, which is a rope. Doesn't seem that much fun. We want swords, we want spears, we want to learn how to fight, but they get a rope.
I
And they are
mean,
told to
you could
tie
do a
the
lot with the rope. Ask Jackie Chan. I'm sure
right.
he'll find some way to use that as a weapon.
They are told to tie the rope. And after each girl ties the rope, Naniska is walking around to inspect their work and she gets the Nawi and she doesn't pass the test. However, she tied it was incorrect. And Nawi kind of like she's a rebel. She likes to talk back. She's like, well, the rope is not a weapon anyway. Why don't we even have to learn how to tie this dumb shit? And Naniska's like, oh, okay, so the rope is stupid? All right, go ahead. You want to learn how to chop the head off this wooden soldier? Go ahead, decapitate him. So now I was like, okay, cool, thank you. This is a real weapon. And she picks up the sword, tries to slice this wooden soldier's head off, and she can't get the sword through. She
I
doesn't
mean,
have the technique or the strength yet to slice cleanly through the soldier.
the sword must be heavy because once Naniska handed her the sword, she like kind of like dropped down
Drops
to the
it,
ground. So when she swung it the first try, honestly, it looked like a pretty good swing, but it wasn't strong enough to
cut through.
cut through the
So
head.
she gets the sword stuck in the neck. Like
Right.
she can't slice through it. The other girls laugh at her because they're like, "You don't follow orders, and now you looking stupid." And then Naniska kind of just like makes her go back to the rope. Like now, learn how to tie that goddamn rope, like I told your ass.
You fool.
All right. So the warriors inform the trainees that they will perform their final test in front of the king. So the pressure's on, but he's going to be watching you to see if you are made to be a part of the king's guard. So the ones that fail though, like you just have to pass the test. You don't have to be number one in the race. Doesn't matter really where you place, but you have to finish it.
All it matters.
But if you finish it, you can be a part of it. You can be a
Right,
part
right.
of the King's Guard. But you fail, you are never to return. Like you can't try again. You are not going to stay around. Like you're not made for this.
Being first always matters.
Okay. Well, Naui is struggling. She doesn't look like she's going to be first in this race because the running portion of the training is kicking her ass, which ditto. This is why I'm not doing high rocks. I'm not getting into the millennial obsession with high rocks because I heard they be running in between every station. No, thank you.
All you gotta do is be the toughest.
Right, I'm tough. I don't need to run.
Right.
So anyway, so Izogi again. I said she took a liking to Nawi. She really wants to help her make sure she gets through this training. So she encourages her to keep going. She's always there to have her back and be like, "You got this." And she also seems to be the main trainer. Like you
Now,
see her sparring with them, teaching them how to swing the knife and also shoot. They learn how to shoot guns as well. Were you going to say,
now
Jonathan?
he seems to really look up to her too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's likable. Like
yeah,
she seems like
she's
the one.
cool.
Yeah, she's always
And
joking
she's
around.
tough, you know. She
Big sister.
definitely respects her toughness.
And Naniska, she's also taken an interest in Naui. She doesn't want to admit it, but like Naui stands out. So she's keeping a close watch to see if this girl is actually going to make it through because she's convinced she will fail. So she's looking. She's got the eyes of everybody, which was her whole point. The trainers demonstrate a backswing to the wooden soldier, And when they do this, it blows up on impact and all the girls laugh. So the trainers, Naniska, Ezogi, and some others realize that the girls must have done something to the soldier, and that's why they're laughing, because why else would it explode? So they're all confronted by Naniska, like, what did you do? Everybody's like, oh no, I mean, like, I did it, we all did it, blah, blah, blah. But now he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take the fall. I did it. So the other girl's like, okay, thank you, cool.
Now we definitely did it, so she had to take ownership of it. She's, I'm not gonna let people take the fall from me.
Yeah, but I mean, they all were a part of it though.
Yeah.
But I guess she decided to just
Right.
take the whole brunt of it. And she probably thought that might make her look good if she just took ownership.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
had a plan, you know?
she explains that the explosion was made from gunpowder.
Right. She was able to. She said you light not a match. Did they have matches? You light a fire or a spark. There you go.
That's
So you
right.
ain't got no matches. Oh, you light a spark, anything will explode.
And the spark would come from the impact of the blade.
Right. Good observation, Jonathan. That's why we have the teacher on the podcast. So she also in this conversation, not only is she getting scolded about the prank, she's getting scolded because Naniska has noticed that she's flirting with the male soldiers, which obviously they're not allowed to have relations with male soldiers. So now he's like, but why is that a big deal? Like, why am I not allowed to have a relationship with a man or have children, but all the male soldiers have wives and children? That's not fair. And Naniska doesn't really answer that question. She's just like, you're arrogant. Follow the rules. This is probably why you got abandoned. I'm like, damn, Naniska didn't say that. Naui calls her arrogant instead. She's like, no, you're arrogant because you don't see how that don't make no sense. But then Naniska tells her she watched soldiers die because they had no discipline, because they didn't follow the rules. And Naui insists that she wants to be there. Like, she's not trying to be a hard ass. She just questions things. She's one of those people, she reminds me of myself. Like, why is this happening? I don't get it. And then they answer you like, but still. I did that for my parents.
I mean, she's a teenager. This is like teenager talk. You're always gonna question things.
Right. So Naniska tells her, like, you need to learn how to kill your tears if you want to be a warrior. Like, get the hell out of here.
Right.
Like, you can't be crying. Like, what's these tears? What's wrong with you? So we go back to Izogi. She probably saw this whole interaction, and she takes Naui to the side and like takes her on a walk. She said, like, why can't you keep your mouth shut? Like, just do what you're supposed to do. Train, shut up. And she's like, well, I'm doing it so that Aniska will see me. Like, I want her to think of me, look at me, see my progress, see me as one of the best. And I think it's working. I mean, like, even though she's being annoying, like, she's being noticed. We don't know any of the other girls except for the Tina Turner. We know her, but we don't know anybody else really.
I mean, it's true that leaders, will question authority. Will stand for what they believe in.
All right. So Azogi says she will one day become the woman king. She's not looking at you. She don't care about you. She's thinking about being the woman king.
Right.
And then she gets into the legend of the woman king / Naniska. She was captured as a young soldier. She was left for dead, and she returned with the Olio soldier's co-face hanging by her belt. And what's her co-face, Jonathan? We did some research. What are co-face?
I'm trying to remember. Is it like parts of the ears or no?
John,
it's
the
parts
penis.
of the penis.
We did
right,
all this research. Penis and Yoruba.
Right.
Is Kofi's.
Yes.
So she returned. People thought she died because she was captured, and she came back with their penises hanging from her belt. That's her legend.
What nice jewelry.
We switch to Naniska. She's waking up from a nightmare, and her buddy Amenza comes in and brings her a drink. They talk about their distaste for Shantae. Shantae comes up a lot. We don't like Shantae. I love Shantae. That's my sister. But not Shantae with an S-H-A-N-T-E.
Spelled differently.
Shantae with S-H-A-W-T. Wait, sorry. S-H-A-W-N-T-A-Y. I love that Shantae. But they hate this Shantae. And she asked Nani to tell her the dream she had while they're drinking this tea, having a little chat. And Nani recounts her dream. We don't have to get into what the dream is, but Amenza is like very much into like spirituality and like reading these nuts. Like she's like, I think your dream is a warning. And she says we must ask this ancestor. I forgot the name. I don't think it's Legba, because I think Legba is like,
she comes from a different tribe. She was brought into this, so this is what she learned.
Oh yeah, right. She was a prisoner. Yeah. So she takes out these nuts, and then Niska's like, no, not the nuts. I don't want to look at the nuts. And Aminta's like, come on, like she's very Aminta's also very pretty serious. She's not
Yeah.
like Izogi. She's pretty serious too. And she warns her, like, you have enemies gathering. Like as she looks at these nuts, she's able to see that. She says someone from your past is in your life, and she insists that she should go to the altar and leave gifts for the dead.
These two also seem that they have a long relationship. They came up together.
Yeah, like they came up together. They also kind of low key make it seem like they might be lovers. No,
I don't know.
yeah, no,
I mean, they didn't show that, but sure,
no. They
maybe.
okay. They just really care about each other. I'm just making up a storyline. Um, Naniska comes outside to see Naui practicing her fighting alone on the wooden soldier. She's gonna get that knife, that sword through that soldier. And Naui doesn't know she's watching. She's just doing this on her own to get better.
And
And I'm sure
it seems to be
Naniska,
very, very like late at night.
right? So I'm sure Naniska's noting that she's trying. The next day, the king, his wives, and the Agojie are expecting the Oyo to come through to make trade negotiations. The Oyo soldiers burst through the gates on horses, and the king approaches them with the Agojie close behind because those are his girls, like just in case things go down. Gotta have them close. Um, we meet we don't meet him, we already met him, but we see General Obade again. He's introducing himself to the king and Naniska, and as she approaches, Oba, she recognizes an earring that he's wearing. And then we, as the audience, see a flashback. She's recalling that the man that held her down, which appears that he's raping her, had the same earring. So we're getting some backstory on Naniska. She was obviously, I think, well, Izoki mentioned that she was captured. So she was captured and also raped. And now she's seeing this earring and making the connection that Oba was the one who did it. So
This
she
had to be Oba.
so once she said
Bastard.
it, I mean, it was a very special earring. So once she sees him and realizes who he is, she hesitates when stepping forward, which is not normal for Naniska to do because she's very strong and fearless. She hesitates so much that the king has to call her forward. The king offers Oba what he has, and it's the palm oil and the gold, like we talked about. And Oba's upset. He's there for what, Jonathan?
He wants prisoners. He wants slaves. He needs to get some money off the slave trade.
And most specifically, what does he want? What kind? Who?
He wants beautiful women.
He wants 40 Agojie that are not too old.
Right.
So he wants their soldiers. He
Right.
wants strong,
Specifically the soldiers, but
right,
he wants them young.
right. And if King Gezo doesn't give him the women, they cannot use the port Huida, which is for trading. And Gezo's upset with that because he's like, wait, hold up, that's our port. And he's like, no, it's not your port anymore. We basically own it. We took it over. So this is how you see like what the Oyo are doing to kind of like sway the Dahomey to let go of some of their people because they're stopping their trade, they're taking over their ports, they're trying to take their like
How do you even allow that? I mean, like, like no, it's ours. I'm like, well, it's our territory. This is part of our land. It's
we see what's
crazy.
going on now. We're allowing a lot to happen.
Yeah.
There's more of us than them, but we're not doing
And
anything right now.
this creates conflict. This creates war. We see it in this movie.
Right. So the king then challenges. He doesn't like that. He's like, "What? You're just gonna take my port and tell us we got it now? Get over it." So he challenges Oba, like by using some phrase like, like a what did he say? Like a gnat or a sick fly can kill a horse, something like that.
Yeah.
Like we might be small, but we can get you in a way that you won't be
He's a
prepared
termite.
for.
I'm trying to remember what it was too. I don't
Right.
know.
We get it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he challenges him with those words, and he comes forward, like Oba comes forward as if to fight him. But of course, the Agojie are there. They're not going to let them just kill the king or fight him or whatever. And then the king is like, chill, stand down. Let me go talk to Naniska about what we should do. So they talk in private. We don't even hear what they say. They don't let the audience in on that. But the king then comes back to Oba and says, we will give you 20 Agojie to be delivered to the port and once we do that, you make sure that that port remains open. So Oba says, "Great, that's what I wanted. I want 20 of your female soldiers, and I will leave my man Boma for the feast that they prepare because they prepared like this big feast for their guests. So they're like, I'm gonna leave my men. So he left like 3 people, and he went. He said he'll go to Wida and wait for his Agojie. So he leaves and leaves some of his people behind. It's good to remember. Nanisa goes to the crowd. You see her silently picking out the Agojie women that she wants to give to the Oyo. And we see that Nawi is one of those chosen. So that's kind of sad because we don't know what the plan is or
Right.
what's going to happen. And Nawi's like, damn, I was just getting better. And she just basically traded me. Just like that, I got traded. That's crazy.
I mean, if we saw who were getting chosen, who exactly were going, we actually would think differently as we see
I mean,
later.
I think when we were watching the movie, we figured there's no way that Naniska's just like, hey, go. Like,
I mean,
you
we know
out.
that, yeah, we
You
know that she's
out.
the main character, so
Right. Why
it's
would she
not,
do that? She's very against it.
right.
Like,
We would question it right away just because we're watching the movie. We know it's the main character.
all right, so Naniska goes to a private place to deal with the painful memories of rape that just hit her all at once when she saw Oba. And Aminza comes to check on her because she can tell that she just went through something in that moment. She's very close to her. She knows what's going on with her just by her body language. And Nani tells her, your nuts were right about impending doom, basically. Like your nuts that you read were correct. We go to the port at Huida. We meet two European slash Brazilian men. One of them looks black, and his name is Malik, and he's played by Jordan Bolger. And Santo, who's played by Christopher Balda. Just kidding. He's played by Hero Five Tiffin. Um, and I said yes, he looks like Jonathan's cousin Christopher
I
Balda
saw I saw she left his note there. Yes. So
when we first saw the movie.
be flattered, Chris. If you watch the movie,
I mean, don't be flattered that you look
you
like
will
a
see
slave.
some resemblance
Right.
of this
I
actor.
wonder if he ever looked. We told him before, but I don't think
Yeah.
he ever looked it up.
Right.
Um, well, Santos says his father runs the slave ships, and he will one day run them too. So this is a family business of stealing slaves from their land. And then we also find out that Malik's father runs a print shop. So we're gathering what, Jonathan? If Malik's father runs something, and during this time in the 1800s,
Well, Malik is free, and
well, why is he free?
because he's half white.
Right, his father's white. Yes. Um, okay, so we go into the city of Weta to look. Sorry, they go into the city of Weta to look around, to get the lay of the land. I believe that Santo has been there before, so he's kind of showing Malik around, and because Malik is the one startled to see African men chained up and on display, and they look like they've been beaten. They're worn out. They look hungry. He doesn't like the look of it because he is half African. So he's just like, if it weren't for my dad, this could be me. Um, and we also find out later, I'll just say it now, that he's half the homie. He's half the homie. He's not the full homie.
Right.
So he's, yeah, he's feeling some type of way because his mother probably was taken in this way.
He's going to
Um,
be hated by everybody.
Right. So the Agojie arrive with 20 girls in tow, and everyone watches them as they enter because they have a reputation. So everyone is curious to see these warriors walk into town. Even Santo knows about them. He calls them the bloodiest bitches in Africa or something like that because they are known to kill people. They need to be killed. Then we see Oba come out to meet them, and Aniska says she brought the tributes that they promised. And when she says that, Oba disparages the homie by saying, "Look at this, everyone. They have no men strong enough to fight for them and be their warriors, that they have to use their women to fight." And he's like, "But don't worry, these Agojie you gave me, I will put them to the use that women are there for." Basically indicating he's going to make them whores.
Nah.
They're going to have sex with all these white men that buy them. And Aniska says, you know what? So that you know, the tribute is not the women. And she throws a basket across to his feet and the heads of Goma, who he left behind to enjoy the feast. And the other soldiers that were left behind, their heads are thrown at his feet.
Right.
Badass, right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Like, look, I killed them motherfuckers.
This is what you think. This is what you think about your offer.
Right. Everyone immediately screams when they just saw the decapitated heads roll across the pavement. So the Agojie attack, and Oba calls for his oil. And now he notices that the oil coming through are all, for some reason, behind this one gate. All of his soldiers are behind this one gate. I don't know why he didn't bring a bunch of them with him as he approached the
He,
baddest, the bloodiest bitches.
I mean, he had all the confidence in the world that they weren't going to fight back. He had so much confidence that he left 3 men behind. I
Right.
mean,
But why would
you
he?
don't think
He
you
didn't
don't?
have a reputation. Why would you
I
think
don't
that they
know.
were just gonna be like, oh yeah, no problem, just take
Maybe
out
maybe it
who's
was a test. I don't know, because like honestly, like you really think that they're going to be okay with you taking their port, asking for their people? Is this
taking their warriors.
yeah, taking the warriors? All that is going to be problematic.
Right. So now he sees that most of the soldiers are behind the gate. So she cuts the rope that would help lift the gate, and that shuts them out. Malik and Santa, Malik. Malik and Santa are looking on as this chaos ensues. It's like a little show for them. But they're staying out of it. Oba and Aniska fight. She gets sliced a little in this fight, and she a pretty deep wound on her arm or shoulder or something. And the rest of the Agojie are running to the bridge to jump into the water because that seems to be the plan.
Right.
Like they weren't
That's what
supposed
we
to
got mentioned.
fight. They were supposed to like throw the heads on the floor, create chaos, maybe close them out, and go run.
And that's what Nawi is supposed to do too.
Right. She's supposed to go.
She saw that Naniska seems like she needed help, and she's like, I'm not gonna let her get ganged up on with a whole bunch of
So
people
was the
trying to go
gate
into the gate.
closing always a part of the plan?
No, it wasn't part of the
Oh,
plan.
okay.
So yeah, they were supposed to all run. I'm
Right.
not even sure if Naniska was supposed to stay back, but
No, she
she's the
wasn't.
leader.
She wasn't.
So like I'll mention this later. We're about to talk about it, but now she's like, I need to cut this rope. We need to close this gate so at least Naniska will have a chance to get out of there alive.
All right. So we see that the oil are trying to get out from behind the gate and are forcing the gate open. Is starting to pull it up for enough men to start climbing underneath. And now we calls out to Nadiska that they need to leave too because we're about to be two against all of these men. And they run to the bridge finally and jump off into the water. And the rest of the Agojie are waiting on the boat to escape. Naniska confronts Nawi for not running with the others as planned. Like she could have gotten captured, and Nawi tells her if she didn't stay and close the gate, Naniska wouldn't have escaped. She would have died probably. And Naniska doesn't like that. She's like, "You always got something to say." She grabs her face forcefully and tells her she risks capture and pushes her away like she's trash. Like out my face.
So so this is what I was thinking. I'm like, the plan was to escape, right? Like Naniska definitely should be that pissed
She
off,
is still dealing with realizing that
right?
man raped her.
Right, and that's the
So
real
she's not really caring
that's the
about
real
her life
story.
right
That's the
now.
real story that Nawi doesn't really know.
Right. So she warns her, Naniska warns Nawi that the Agojie do not act alone, even though that's kind of what she was doing.
Right, hypocrite.
As Nani and Aminza walk away, Aminza's like, I don't really like check you in front of people, and I didn't, but you also did not follow the plan. Like, that's not what you were supposed to do. And Aniska says the plan was always to take Oba's head. And I like this scene because you see Azoki in the background, like, what's going on? Like, and her face is like,
Yeah, she should. I feel like this actress should be in more stuff like
she is though. She was. She
comedically,
had like a moment where you kept seeing her.
but comedically.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
she's very talented.
she has talent to do comedy. So just to
Well, I think she's good at everything. She was good in that movie you don't like. You probably forgot she's in it because you don't like it. Captain Marvel.
oh yeah,
She's the friend.
yeah.
Yeah. And then also she's remember she was great in I think a kind of mediocre movie, the Bob Marley movie. She was
Okay,
the wife.
yeah.
Yeah, she was great in that too. She's a really good actress.
They should definitely start putting her on more stuff.
I think was she in the recent James Bond, and then she was in Tron too.
All
She
right,
shows
I
up.
honestly want to see. I'm interested in how she would do in a comedy movie. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, but she probably thinks she's better than that, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so the next thing that Niska's trying to convince the king that handing over any African people, even if they're not the homie, is wrong. And that Europeans are trying to enslave the whole continent. Like he has to keep being reminded of this. Because it would be easier just to do what they ask to keep the peace. In the film, this is a fact. In the film, Naniska challenges Gezo on the morality of selling Africans to Portuguese and proposes shifting to palm oil trade, which we know. While this exchange is fictional, it reflects the historical reality that the Dahomey and the Agojie turned to palm oil commerce between 1840 and 1870 as European nations began outlawing the slave trade. So this is what you said.
Right.
The shift was driven by economic necessity rather than a moral rejection of slavery.
We were just talking about this before the podcast, saying like, oh, like this is what truly actually end the slave trade.
This transition later contributed to political divisions within the Dahomey over what should replace the declining profitability of the slave trade. So this is what you were getting at about like focusing on the Dahomey is controversial because it seems like they were into the slave trade.
Right.
They
It's
were
just
only forced to do palm oil trade because it was outlawed.
I mean, this story definitely like will show the Dahomey as like kind of heroic. It's like it's a fictional story
Like they
overall,
still succeeded,
right?
and even when they didn't give into the slave trade,
Like
kind of thing.
try not to think of it as a super accurate story, because no movie that is based on a
Depicted
true story
historically is
is
never
completely accurate.
right.
Yeah, it's just inspired. It's just
Right.
inspired by these people and some of the events that have taken place during this
Right.
time.
All right, let's get back into it. Malik looks on at as the slave auction begins, and meanwhile, Oba and Santo are having a little meeting off to the side. Oba's insisting to Santo that he's going to take over Dahomey. He already has the Mahi and the Igbo, and Santo will get his human cargo. Don't worry about that. Malik and Santo journey to Dahomey on foot. Nawi is at a waterfall sharpening her sword when she stumbles upon Malik's clothes because Malik and Santo stop to bathe in the water. So she finds his Malik's clothes. And when she turns around, he's like standing naked. And now he's holding his clothes because he's looking for. He's like, "Where's my clothes? Somebody took my clothes." He thinks Santo took them. And and then she's like, "Go back to where you came from," but because she can tell he's from like Europe or somewhere that's not the
I
homie,
mean, now we're seeing this man not look like her, and so she's
not her
just
fully.
right.
Like
So
he's
she's
dressed
she's
in a
thinking
different
she's thinking
way,
that this person is also technically he is European.
right?
So he's like, go back.
Right.
You're not one of us. Why are you
You're
here?
also here probably to trade
Right.
us, yeah. So he declares that his mother was the homie.
And it's
His
definitely
mother was the homie. I'm
right.
sorry.
And it's going to be believable because right now, I mean, we're hearing this as English, but right now he is speaking her language.
Oh, he
She's
is. I don't remember. You speaking her language? I don't think so, Jonathan.
no, that's no.
They're speaking in the language?
I'm trying to remember if we're hearing English, and no, right now he's supposed to be speaking the homie language. Yes, this is how they know that she
Okay.
knows for a fact.
Okay.
How else would they be able to communicate?
And like any other movie that fakes that and pretends like everybody
No,
speaks
no.
English?
Right now, what's this guy
Let's move this
Malik?
along, please.
Right now, Malik is talking in the homie language.
Okay. So he tells her his mother is the homie and his father is white. He lets her know that he's going to the homie right now because he wants to see where his mother grew up. And she seems to be intrigued by him. She sees the cross around his neck. It's very symbolic. Like, what? What is this? Like, she doesn't know what Christianity is. That's definitely a European thing. But he seems to like her. He's instantly infatuated by her. And while they're kind of getting to know each other in those small moments, Santo calls for him and she runs away.
I mean, Malik is not gonna come across many people like Nawi.
Right. And then somebody that's like his mom, like
Right.
somebody from his mom's homeland. So Santo and Malik arrive at the homie. Santo comes bearing gifts for the king, and Malik lets the king know that his mom was captured from the homie and taken to Europe. The king says his mother was also captured and sold by his brother. So that's kind of a fucked up story that should make him not want to sell his people. That's what happened to his mom.
Yeah.
He says that many of his men are looking for his mom in their country right now. So he's definitely not over that. So it's kind of weird that he got into the slave trade because that's what happened to his mother. He goes on to say that his mom's dying wish was that she wanted him to come visit the homie.
Right.
I'm gonna laugh every time I say that. Come visit the homie.
Yeah, you gotta visit the homie.
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry. You gotta visit the homie.
There you go. It is the final test day for the trainees, and Malik and Santo happen to be there in a very interesting day. They get to watch this training or this test, and Izogi gives them a pep talk. She's talking to the Agojie and training. Their competition starts. Ode appears to be leading because Naui is getting very stuck. They have to like climb through thorns, and they're getting like they're very tangled. So no way you're gonna go through those thorns and not get stuck by a bunch of them.
I would
And
just be like, no.
I failed. I guess I'm going into
I was like, I'm not doing this.
Naui catches up to Ode eventually after getting her feet ripped open by jumping over one of those like climbing obstacle things that most obstacle courses have. But she just jumps over it. Most people are climbing it, like they climb down it. She just jumped
She
over it.
climbs up, and
Right,
she notices the only way to get
ahead of
ahead
her.
is to fall and drop instead of to
Right.
climb down.
Yeah, she jumped off. What is it?
No, you said she jumped over it. You know, I'm picturing her like literally jumping over the wall. She has to climb up,
She's a
and then she
superhero,
drops.
Jonathan. She shot up in the air and jumped over the whole
Right.
thing. God,
That's
shut up. Shut up. She defeats, so once she gets down to the ground, she has to spar with like a male soldier. She defeats that person pretty easily, and then she's able to pull ahead and beat Ode. And Ode is very bummed about
it was
this.
actually very close in the end.
Yeah, like Ode was second place.
Right.
She's the first loser, like Joe Jackson said.
And we're seeing Naniska kind of like hide like celebrating to herself, like
Yeah.
and you know there others are happy that Naui's the one that wins.
Right. So the king brings Naui forward to congratulate her, and everyone that finished the race is welcome to the king's guard because, like I said, all you have to do is finish. But it looks good to be first, of course.
Malik is not so present, right? You said that, right? So yeah, I'm sure Malik is liking this even more too.
Yeah, I mean it's impressive. You like to see now. Do you like to see girls go crazy and be good at what they do?
I think it's
Answer this
yeah, I think it's
carefully.
sexy to see someone succeed.
Okay, you're supposed to just say you think it's sexy when you see me succeed, but okay. Anyway, Naniska, aka Miganon. This is when I realized they also call her Miganon. That's like
Amiga
another
non.
word. Um,
This make it sound Spanish. Amigo non.
that's because I'm around you too much, Jonathan. If I'm being honest with you, sometimes you heard me say Malik, and I was like, no, why do I say it's Malik?
Malik.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so Miganon shows that
Naui.
she's proud of Naui and tells her she'll, because they're like, she's being tended to. Like she's getting her foot, the thorns ripped out of her foot. And Aniska passes her and says, I'm proud of you, and you'll have many more battle wounds after this. Like, yay, great, I'm so excited. Naniska also notices Naui has a mark on her shoulder, a very distinct mark, and asks her what it is. And Naui explains that her dad called it the devil's mark when he chose her from the orphanage. So we find out that she's adopted. Yeah, Jonathan, you've been waiting for this moment.
It's also not a fresh cut, so she's like, "Wait, you got this cut before this race."
Right. It's very embedded in her skin. There's also like a little bump in it, which we'll get to later.
Yeah. Niska surprised that she's an orphan.
Yeah.
And Niska leaves abruptly.
Thank you for reading my notes. She leaves abruptly, like something affected her, like that she can't take. Because right then she was just happy, like, good job, great job. And then she's like, oh yeah, I got the scar. And then she's like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
She has a face. She has like a face as if she's seen a ghost.
Right. There you go. That's a good way to describe it. So Mensa is like, again, like, that's my girl. What's going on? So she follows her to see what's up. And Aniska says, what did you do with it? And we're like, what did you do with it? What are we talking about?
It's
all right. And then Mensa says, you told me never to tell you no matter how hard you asked me. Like, no matter how aggressively you asked, you promised me not to tell you. She's like, tell me, bitch. I don't care what I said. And she's like, I gave her to the missionaries. Like when we were on our way back home, I just handed her off to some missionaries. And Amenza, after she's being questioned about this, she puts together like, oh shit, now we just said she was adopted. So you're thinking that this is your daughter that you gave up.
It's like just because she's tough doesn't mean she's your daughter.
Right. I guess Amenza doesn't know about the scar, so she's like, just because she's adopted, anybody could be adopted. Right. So we go with the Santo, and he's sitting with the king.
Si Santo.
Right, and he lets it know, or you want to say Chris? He lets it know that Shantae, who's always butting her head into things, said that he was seeking a trade. And the king is like, can you shut the hell up, Shantae? No, I mean, she wasn't in this conversation.
Right.
But he's upset that Shantae spoke for him. Like, I didn't tell her to say that. Santo insists that if he does not sell his people, he will be poor and unprotected. Like, he doesn't want his palm oil, he doesn't want his gold, he wants his people. And he's like, no captains will do business with you if you don't sell your people. And the king's like, well, if you're no longer a necessity to me because I don't want to give my people to you, then you too are unprotected in Dahomey.
Right, you're in his land.
Right, you're in his spotlight.
Be careful.
Unprotected.
You gotta be careful how you speak to the king.
Right. I was trying to think of a Lion King line, didn't come fast enough.
Right. Like, oh my God, there's a lion.
Like, oh my God, there's a lion. Look.
We just found out the actual translation to the Lion King song, and it's literally like, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Oh my God, there's a lion. Something like that. I can't
so
remember.
Ridiculous. I know. I think it's like, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Disney.
All right, we gotta move on. It's late. So Malik is creeping on Nawi. He's into Nawi. He likes her cornrows. He comes to the palace and he's like at the door and she's like, you can't come in here. You're not allowed to be in here. And he asks her, okay, fine, can you come by my tent? And she's like, I got a blood oath after this. Did you see me? I just completed that test. But she's like, you know what? After the blood oath, I got you. I'll be there, boo. So that's not how it happened, but that's basically what happened. So Zogi, she peeps this. She's like, I saw Malik waving at you. How do you know him? Like, who's this man? Right. He looks good, but you ain't supposed to know that or care about that. She says, do not give your power away. Love makes you weak. So they've all been indoctrinated to believe that you can't have any relationships. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be a good warrior. That's why the men suck. I mean, because they have women and children. That's why they're not as good as us.
It's the rule of the Agojie. You have to obey by the laws of the Agojie.
Yeah. So after the blood oath, she goes on her date with Malik because that's basically what it is. And they're infatuated with each other. Cute little chit chat. They get close. Cute. They exchange gifts and things to remember each other by. All right. So now he goes to the bathhouse immediately after this date. Not even trying to sneak in and be low. And Naniska's in there. And she tells her, guess what I heard from a little birdie? The Oyo is growing in an army and plans to march on Dahomey. It's gonna happen. And Naniska's like, doesn't miss a beat. She's like, how do you know that shit?
Honestly,
who you been talking to?
Honestly, they should expect that. But
she came in there very like certain, like somebody told her.
Right. No, but I'm saying they should already prepare for that anyway.
I mean, Naniska didn't react like.
Now we definitely came in as a matter of fact.
Right. But Naniska she didn't really react like she was surprised.
Right.
She went to the you whore, basically. Like, I know you were with that man. Everybody saw him looking at you like he was in love. So Naniska accuses her of hanging out with Malik. She tells her that she's arrogant again. You're going to be kicked out if you break the rules. Like, you literally just took a blood oath and went to go see a man. So now he screams at her that she will not be captured like her. Like a jerk. And Aniska's like, you know what happened to me when I got captured? You just throwing that out there like that, bringing up old memories. I got raped every night by many different men. And so much so that I got pregnant. And I did give birth, but I told Aminta, to take it away. Like, we know as the audience, we've been on this, how we catch up. But before Aminta took you away, she had this inclination, this instinct to still try to remember. Like, if she ever ran into her, she would know who it was because she decides to mark her by slicing her a little bit on the arm, and then she pressed the shark tooth into it.
That would be the more certain way to know if this is her.
Right.
The shark tooth embedded into her skin that she wounded as a baby.
So now we backs away. She's like, it isn't me. Like, it's just a scar. Like, how do you know it's specifically the scar that I have that you're talking about? And Aniska turns her around and slices out the tooth. Like, you see this bump right here? This is a shark tooth. And I'm like, you can't really deny that. I mean, you have a shark tooth in your shoulder.
She took out the shark tooth. Like, so you're saying there are multiple babies that have a shark tooth in the back of their shoulder?
Right.
Yeah, it's her daughter.
So now he looks at it in disbelief because she can't really deny this, and she swims away and leaves the bath
She
and leaves
like
it at that.
she like weakly walks away. I mean, to find out something this devastating, it'll be hard to even
I think
move or
it's
walk.
devastating or just surprising.
No, it's devastating. It just tells her what she just found out is her whole life is like a lie. Her whole life is
But she
could
knew
it
she was adopted.
her whole life could have been different. Like what if things
Naniska kept her. She
were
was
to
gonna
have
be a
been
warrior,
she but it's just like now we didn't love her life,
right?
right? And what if it was different type of
Okay.
deal. And
I don't see
she
how
probably
it would have
always
been
wondered
better.
she always wondered who her mother was, and she finds out who her mother is. This is this news that will take anyone back.
Of course, but I'm just saying I don't think her life would have been that different because Naniska
I mean, it
is
would have been different. Actually, I'm on probably a worse way. She
okay.
probably would not exist. But well, let's continue.
All right, so Naniska and Azogi are surveilling the oil because, like Nawi warned her, they are preparing their army to march on Dahomey. Naniska informs everyone that they plan to bring the war to the oil instead. That's what we're gonna do. They think they're gonna come to us. We're coming to them first. She takes that gunpowder trick that she learned from Nawi, and she's gonna plant. Jonathan, do you want to explain? Like they put the gunpowder in ant hills.
Yeah, like I'm not sure it's ant hills, some type of hill that's created by bugs, and so they're masking these ant hills.
No, they're masking the gunpowder.
The gunpowder in these ant hills, or this is we're gonna say ant hills,
And are they setting this up
and
around like their camp?
they must know that they set up camp here when they get near to Dahomey or when they're in Dahomey, right?
Right.
I have no idea where this camp is,
Right.
and they probably know this because of the past, or they just know this because it's a good place to set camp because it's open space.
Right. So they know they're gonna set up camp near the hills that they prepared. So of course, they're preparing to fight the oil. Not Niska gives a rooting pre-battle speech. They get to the oil village. They light those ant hills. They like set a fire from a distance with gasoline that's trailing to the ant hills, and they light it. So that once that fire hits those ant hills, it makes a huge explosion. There's like six. How many ant hills would you say?
It was a lot. It was
There's a
surrounding.
lot
It
of
was a
ant hills
surrounding the
surrounding
camp. It
the
was a
camp.
lot.
And maybe they're dung beetle hills.
Oh, that sounds more
More
accurate.
likely.
Right, more likely,
Um,
yes.
so they explode, and then Oba knows that they've been attacked, so he tells his men to fight. The Agojie make themselves known. They start fighting the Oyo. Nawi gets some good kills in with her rope knife, that same rope that she felt like wasn't really a weapon. She learned how to connect that knife to the rope and throw it at people skillfully and kill them.
That's
But
pretty badass.
as we see them fighting, we're seeing both sides are losing a bunch of people. Someone knocks Nawi out at some point with a rock, and she falls down a hill. Right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. So she's passed
Well,
out.
she gets pushed. She gets pushed down, and she falls really hard and gets knocked out by having her head land on a rock.
Oh, her head lands on a rock. I thought they knocked her out with a rock. So Naniska, of course, she's out for blood for Oba. She wants to kill Oba. But Oba is telling his men to fall back because they're starting to realize that they're losing.
Right.
So even though both sides are losing people, ultimately the oil are struggling because they're not as good as fighters as these ladies. So Ode, aka Tina Turner, she's shooting a group of men. They learn how to shoot guns. So she turns their guns on them, and once she successfully takes out a whole bunch of people, she's cheering, but then she realized at some point in that crossfire she got shot. So she collapses and she dies. So that's the end of Ode.
Well, I mean, like one thing I was thinking too, like what really made this an advantage is the explosion spooked the horses away. So the horses in battle would make will give the Oyo a huge advantage.
Right.
So this is what the catching them off guard and losing the horses really brought success to the battle.
Ode dies. We see the Oyo are escaping, and like I said, some of these Agojie women have been injured, and including Nawi. So they're trying to escape while also taking some people. They want to have some kind of a win.
Right.
So the Agojie see the battle as a victory because they did get the Oyo to leave and lose a lot of their people. But once they come down from that, they're realizing that some of their girls are missing or dead.
The casualties of war.
Right. We go to Nawi. She's on a wagon with a whole bunch of other injured Agojie warriors, and they've been taken by Oba. Nawi notices her friend who's on the end is not tied to anyone. She's just on the edge of the wagon. And she's like, well, if you're not tied to anyone, you should just roll over the side of the wagon. Just like roll over. You're not tied to anything. You're good to go. She's like, good point.
This also gives them a good messenger.
Right. So it leaves somebody behind to tell them where they went. So she's able to escape and pass along that message. So the rest of them are taken to the Ouija port, of course, because that's where the slave trade business goes down. Oba tells the soldiers that they are definitely going to have to buy passage now, because if they go home, they are dead men. Because they lost that battle, they lost a whole bunch of people, their empire is now significantly smaller. So now they have to make a way in Ouija. He tells them to put one of the Agojie on display, because they're going to get a lot of money for the strong black women, basically. And the bids will be much higher for them. So then now we see something that the audience doesn't see until now. Unfortunately, Agojie has also been captured. She has been badly injured. Her arm is broken. She seems defeated as well. Like her brain has been broken a little bit. Because Agojie, she's always laughing. She's always hopeful, encouraging, and she's just kind of like, "Oh no, we've been captured. I'm not being raped. Let's kill ourselves."
She's not used to losing like this,
right? So Nawi is up to Nawi now to encourage Agojie. She's like, "This is not what we do. We keep fighting." So her speech was riveting enough that Agojie's like, "All right, you're gonna have to push my arm back together." And Jonathan enjoyed seeing her bones be pushed back together because, of course, they show it.
Right. I mean, like, in her mind, she's thinking like, "Oh, we right now the best thing to do is to slit our own throats
because we don't want to be raped like Naniska." They come up with a plan now. She's encouraged to figure out something with Nawi. We see a man herding cattle sees that wounded Agojie who flipped over the side of the wagon. He sees her walking back towards Dahomey. So we see that she got away. She was able to make her way home. And she's able to report to Naniska and Aminta who is on the wagon with her.
She only knows that Nawi's there. And
she only knows Nawi?
They ask about Agojie.
Well, I mean, she could piece together that there were other people.
If she saw Nawi, we can only assume that she's also involved. She's also been captured.
So the king is about to announce the woman king. He announces that who's the woman king, Jonathan?
If you can hear that drum roll, is going to be, of course, Naniska.
Right. And Shantae, is she happy about this, Jonathan?
Shantae has always been unhappy about this. She's been unhappy throughout this whole movie. She's pissed.
Or Jamie was just like, just play annoyed.
Right.
Just hate Naniska. Now Shantae's furious because she wants to be like his right-hand man.
She's an uppity wife of like nine wives.
Right, she's like the main wife, so she feels like she should be like the woman king or the queen. And so much so she calls Naniska common. Like, why does she get to be the king? And he shuts her up, like, shut the hell up, this is what I picked. You don't have any say. And she runs away like, oh my God.
And he sends his other wife, like, go
check on her.
Go check on her.
Make sure she's making the feast, so she's preparing the feast for later. So Nani tells the king she thinks the honor is too soon. She's actually been waiting for this moment, but she can't celebrate because she's missing Agojie and her daughter. Now it's her daughter that's stuck and about to be killed, raped, whatever.
She probably has like extra pride that she's been so successful.
Right. So she also thinks she's also using that people are grieving about the dead and the missing Agojie, so this would be a weird time to take on such an honor and to celebrate it. And she really wants to go find the captured. Like, that's what she wants to do. But he's like, no, we're about to have a feast and celebrate you. We're not doing this. Like,
I already announced this to everybody. Don't make me look like a fool.
Right. Like, don't be disobedient. Accept my honor. And don't, I like his little sassy, don't confuse my admiration for weakness.
Right. It's funny you mentioned the accent. Like, when we look at everybody in this movie, everyone has different accents.
They do?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they also talk about it, like
Which one are they trying to do?
what accent they use for their character. You know,
Oh,
so like it's whatever. It's just a movie.
all right. He denies her. He's like, "You're not going to save them. We're gonna eat and feast and celebrate. Take the honor I gave you and shut up." And she agrees. She's not Niska. She's the woman king. She's gonna do what she wants to do. But he don't know that. In the morning, he should know that, but he thinks she wouldn't disobey him, I
Right.
guess. And when she comes back later, he's like, "You deliberately disobeyed me. And what worse? You put Naui in danger."
Nice.
Anyway.
Going back to the Lion King reference.
So in the morning, we see the slavers come to view the captured while they are chained up. These captured obviously include Naui, Agojie, and another Agojie soldier. The Agojie are taken to be displayed first because they are going to be the ones that are bidded on the highest. So we're hearing like a voiceover of Naui and Izogie's plan as this is happening. They're like, they're gonna in the morning come get us. They're gonna put us on the block, and when they put us on the block, we're gonna be unshackled. And we also see them being rinsed off with buckets very aggressively. They just have a full bucket of water, just throw it on them, make them stand in front of people naked while they're getting washed off. And you even see like Santo, like when they're standing on the block, he's just touching Izogie's breast. Like he's just like, it's like, it makes you so disgusted watching this shit. And then they say in this voiceover, we're hearing their plan. Once they are sold, they are gonna disarm the guards and run to the water. So while this is all happening and they're on the block, Malik obviously he likes Naui, so he's protesting her being on the block and getting ready to be sold to the highest bidder. And Santo says something very rude to him. He threatens him and says, "Be happy you're not on the block." So that's what they think of him. That he's half black. Someone pulls him away to be like, "Get out of here. This is none of your business. Let them be sold." And that distraction helps Naui and Izogie start their moment of escape. Agojie is quick. She's been an Agojie for a long time. She's been running. She's been fighting. She gets away very quickly. But notices Naui has immediately been captured by two men.
Slowpoke.
So she's not able to leave because she has to go back and save Naui. And when she runs back, she gets shot in the back for it. And Naui gets away from her captors. Well, they let her go.
Yeah.
Because they,
she's
surprisingly, they feel bad for her. They want her to cry.
They also saw how slow she is. Like if she starts running again, we'll capture her.
Right. So Jonathan mentioned it, but as Izogie's dying, she calls her a slowpoke, right?
Yeah.
All right. But Naui just keeps crying and holding her as Agojie dies. And it's a sad moment because we all like Agojie. She grows on us throughout this movie. Seeing that Malik has an infatuation with Naui, Oba tells Malik if he wants to save Naui, it will be 100 rias. I guess that's their currency. But he's like, "You like this girl. Here, have her. Just pay me."
It's a good salesman. It's a good salesman.
So Naniska's preparing to leave to go get Naui. And because at this moment, she doesn't really know where Agojie is. She might just be dead. But it's really mostly about Naui. So Amenza tells her that she could get into immense trouble for disobeying the king's orders, and she's aware. She's like, whatever. She's like, "I don't care. I have to confront my past. I have to save my daughter." And she leaves. Amenza, right after she leaves and they act like, "Oh no, you're going to disobey him. This is a bad idea." We see that Amenza, other Agojie soldiers, and the Migan, which is the male Dahomey soldier, like the main one, is like the Miganon and the Migan.
Whatever.
Who cares about the male Dahomey?
Yeah,
whatever. They all follow her as she starts her journey to Ouida. So she's not alone. Isn't that nice? Malik comes into the room where he put Naui, because he did end up purchasing her to save her, and he's coming to give her some clothes, some European-ass clothes. And he tells her that he will sneak her out at nightfall.
And now he's like,
what?
Now he's like, "Yo, you don't owe me."
Right. She's a little off because he's just opening and closing doors. Like, he locked the door. and she couldn't get out. So he's like, "Oh, you owe me. I can't leave when I want." He's like, "No, no, no. Here's the key. You can get in and out if you please. I just wanted to make sure you were safe." And then he gently cleans her wounds, and they have a moment. And I think we can infer that they had sex. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had sex. Someone who's not having sex, we meet the eunuch again. And the eunuch and Shantae are telling the king that Nani and the Migan and some other Agojie have gone to Wida, even though they were told not to. And he should postpone the feast. And Shantae tells him, well, I think the eunuch tells him to postpone it, right? But Shantae is telling him, no, don't cancel because that will make you look weak.
Right.
Because you already told everybody. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I think she just wants the opportunity to be called the Woman King instead.
Right. Yeah, Shantae's all about her own interest. Not my Shantae. Sorry, Shantae. Naniska and team arrive and see the captured Agojie behind the gates. And one of the captured Agojie updates her about Agojie, that she died, and Nawi, that she was purchased. Nani tells Amenza there will be no prisoners and to burn the whole trade to the ground. So we ready for this big battle, Jonathan? Nani's like, take no prisoners.
I know what Naniska is.
Yep. I mean, she just said it. They sneak into attack and they be killing every white man that they see. And a white man screams, sound the alarm, to let everybody know what's happening. And now he comes out of the hotel. Like, she looks out the hotel window, she sees her people fighting, and she's like, I gotta join them. They need help. Thank you for the D, but I gotta move on.
Wow.
They hear Santo approaching the bedroom, and Malik's like, okay, I'm gonna distract him. You go do what you gotta do. The Agojie begin burning the village down. Nani declares, I keep calling her Nani because Amenza called her Nani, and I was like, that's easy to write. So,
Gotcha.
so then I say Nani, and that's what Nisi calls me. Nani declares that she wants Oba. That's always been her thing. When she saw that earring in his ear, she was like, he gotta die. So Amenza punches, I like this kill. Amenza wraps chains around her fist and punches a white man to death with her fist.
Nice.
The other captured men from other villages, like the men that were being traded, they are trying to get away in a boat, and Santo and Malik are also in this boat. But then Malik is like, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys go so you can beat the shit out of Santo. So he lets them beat the shit out of Santo, and then they like throw him in the water, and he like floats to his death. So that's the end of Chris.
Oh, Christopher.
We go back to Naniska. She's going after Oba. And did she slice the poor horsey's legs? What did she do? Because Oba's on a horse.
Maybe. I mean,
yeah, she might have. She definitely made the horse fall down.
Horses, again, they're huge advances. It gives them the height. It gives them the reach.
Right. It gives them the ability to run away.
Right.
So once he's off the horse, she slices off his earring in his ear, obviously. She slices off the lobe and fights him to the death. So he dies. We could just get through that. She kills him.
Whatever.
And after killing him, she doesn't realize that like there's another soldier getting ready to kill her. And now he shoots him dead. And together as mother and daughter, they finish killing the rest of the soldiers.
I do have to say how Naniska killed
How did he kill Oba?
So Oba stabs her forearm, and we're thinking that she's not gonna get past this, but what Naniska ends up doing is use that same sword that is in her forearm and stabs him in the chest.
So she's like gets through the pain and says, I'm gonna use this as a weapon. Right. Malik looks torn after this battle. He's torn because he loves Nawi. He's in love with her. But he's knowing he needs to go, like, right now. But he looks at Nawi longingly. And she kind of gives him, like, a head nod, like, you were cool, but I gotta go.
Right.
And she leaves. They come back to a celebration at Dahomey. Everyone is chanting Naniska. And she approaches because she knows she should be getting punished for what she did. And Shantae's looking on her like, what you gonna do? You gonna take care of this? And he tells her, like, yeah, you deliberately disobeyed me. But then he yells to the crowd, but we ended the reign of the Oyo Empire. That's a big fucking deal. Yeah. And he pretty much moves on. He's like, you did an amazing thing, so we don't even care.
Like, well, you may have disobeyed me, but there was a lot of good that came from it.
Right. So Nawi comes to Izogi's altar because obviously we have to mourn the dead with water. And Naniska's already there. She's like, "You brought water for Izogi? She wants whiskey. And you know she would want whiskey."
Right.
Nawi lets Naniska know that she understands her pain, everything she's been through, and she apologizes for saying all that stuff. And Nani apologizes to Nawi for leaving her and not being brave enough to keep her and bring her back and raise her because she's probably, first of all, was a child of a product of rape.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, she probably felt shame even though it wasn't her fault. You know how it was back then and even now. Even though you're the one who got raped, somehow you'll be blamed for being captured and getting impregnated. It could mess up her chances of being the woman king one day because she has a baby. That was a big rule. Like, that was a rule that you can't have kids.
It messes her reputation. I don't know. It changes.
It's risking it.
It changes the way.
It's risking her reputation. But she gets into like, "You're not the thing that hurt me. You're my daughter." And now we can't take this. She leaves. Like, in the middle of her saying this, she cannot take the emotion. So Naniska, Viola Davis does her best acting and painful crying, and I was waiting for the snot to run out of her nose, but it didn't quite happen. Didn't quite happen in this scene. So we go to another scene. Celebrations are beginning for Naniska as the new woman king that's been put into place. And Naniska is all dressed up, wounds are all fixed up, and she's in like some royal garb and headdress. And Nawi comes to her mother and says, "Mother, will you dance?" Just to show like a peace offering, let's get to know each other. And they have a moment, they touch their foreheads together tenderly, and that's how the movie ends. So John, please let me know how you rate this film's rewatchability, character development, plot, and entertainment factor out of 5 of King Gezo's wives.
King I know he had like 9 wives. I mean, all the 9 wives. It's honestly, I rated it 5 throughout the board. 5 for rewatchability, 5 for character development, 5 for plot, 5 for entertainment factor. I mean, this movie does actually hit everything. They gave it 99% out of 100 for the audience in Rotten Tomato, right? And I agree with them. I'm a fan of the movie, even though it's not going to be historically accurate. I never look at it based on true events or whatever to be accurate. It's going to be dramatized. It's going to be done so it can have a good story to tell. And I think it does a good job. It still gives us a good story of women empowerment and showing a story of how things were, giving some truth to what could be a very disturbing past. 5 out of 5 King Gezo's wives.
Of King Gezo's wives, yes. All right, so I'm gonna say rewatchability is a 5, character development's a 5, plot's a 5, entertainment factor is a 5. Obviously, we really like this movie, so final score is a 5 out of 5. The Woman King honestly made me so proud to be a Black woman. Watching it with such a rush, these incredible, powerful women absolutely owning every scene. The story hits hard too, showing how strength and vulnerability can exist at the same time. And Viola Davis brings that balance to life so well. Even though it's over 2 hours, it flies by because of the action, the drama, and the fight choreography are all so good. Was that a good? I just liked it. 5 out of 5. Last but not least, we're going to leave you with a segment called DVD Extras. This is where we tell you if you just watched The Woman King, I forgot the name of the movie. If you just watched The Woman King, here's what you should watch next. I think you could guess what I'm going to say. You should watch Black Panther because Black Panther allowed this movie to be made because everybody was obsessed with those bald-headed, beautiful Black women. The Dora Milaje, was inspired by the Agojie. So, see why this one movie allowed this movie to happen.
I would say if you like this movie, I would suggest Gladiator. I feel like Gladiator has that warrior mentality.
You want to see White Warriors?
Well, I mean, still, you still get the sense of a period timepiece, a person that, I mean, these gladiators are also captured and somewhat forced to fight, right? So they're slaves. They're slaves themselves. So we're still looking at someone battling to be free.
All
So
right.
so like watch Gladiator. It's a good movie.
Okay. Well, we made it to the credit sequence. Thank you so much for listening to the 42nd episode of Two Tickets, One Theme. We're going to continue celebrating women with our horror pick of the week. We're going to do a film starring a badass final girl, but we will keep that reveal until next week. Follow us on our Instagram page at Two Tickets, One Theme. You can follow Jonathan at jmanzano1989, and you can follow me at Tionni WA. Please follow and rate our podcast on Apple and Spotify. Please follow and rate our podcast on Apple and Spotify. Also, don't forget that we are now on YouTube, so stay tuned for the link to the video version of our podcast. Thank you, and see you for the next episode. Wanna go to Vegas? Let's go.
Let's go.